Hello and a very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You're watching The Big Picture with me, Frank Rausen Pereira. As the Union government gave its nod to bring reforms in the space sector by allowing private players participation, the Indian Space Research Organization has released the draft of a new Spacecom Policy 2020. The policy will regulate the commercial use of satellites, orbital slots, and ground stations for communication needs. The policy also details how private players can get authorization for setting up new communication satellites and ground stations. The private players in the space communication sector will also enable India to keep pace with the growing demand for satellite-based broadcasting, network connectivity, and global mobile personal communication. In this edition of The Big Picture, we will analyze the draft Spacecom policy and what lies ahead for India's growing space sector. Joining me on the program today is a very special guest. It's a pleasure to welcome on the program Dr. K. Sivan, Chairman, ISRO. Dr. Sivan, welcome and thank you for joining me on Big Picture.
Thank you. Thank you for giving for the opportunity to get involved in this particular program.
So let's start with the draft Spacecom Policy 2020 then. You know, it's ready. The ISRO has prepared a draft. What are the salient features of this draft, Dr. Sivan?
Basically, this we had one SATCOM policy earlier, 1997 version. This we have been using for keeping our the communication satellite, and but that had some limitations for the involvement of that the private players when they are doing the space activity. But that because of that the recent reform that released by announced by the Union government, and in line with that, in order to make the private players to do the space activity in an efficient way without any hurdle, to make them to do the job with ease, and also to do all the actions, that is either to do the business in India or they are allowed to do the business abroad, the other outside India also. They can make use of our satellite. They can take their own satellite, and it is this that in terms of the satellite owning, in terms of the ground stations setup, in terms of providing the services to the common people, there is no restriction. We are making sure that it is without any problem. These private people can do the job without any issue, and that is the main topic of this particular policy.
Right. So, talking about the private sector, Dr. Sivan, ISRO has dealt with the private sector in the past as well. What has the experience been of ISRO dealing with the private sector in the past?
Basically, this in the past, that is that ISRO has dealt with was dealing with the private people. At the same time, earlier, in the past, that ISRO, the private people were involved in the space activity as vendor, not as a partner, not as a doing that activity. Only they're supplying the components, supplying the tanks, like that. With that, they're stopping and they're worked only as a vendor. And what the space reform we talk this one, and what we are talking is private people are allowed to carry out the space activity on their own. And all these provisions, like the policies we are making, and not only the Spacecom policy, that another few numbers of policies are going to come. That it is going to come. That is a navigation policy, or that when you talk about that that remote sensing policy, then the launch vehicle policy, and the space exploration policy. So that entire gamut of policies we are putting so that the space sector, the private sector will not have problem in any area. That is our this one. Now come back to your question. What is the experience with the private people? Yes, earlier I said that earlier they are working as a vendor. Now we have opened up this particular opportunity to the private people, we had an excellent response from the private people, not the big industries, and they wanted to really take the entire activity of launching the satellite. They want to take the ownership, and we are seeing a lot of very interesting startups that is they come forward to develop that launch vehicle. Then they are providing some startups are coming with they are deploying the spacecraft and providing services. And we are seeing that the ecosystem in India, based on this announcement, is very good. And I'm sure that in a few years from now, that is the entire space activities of India is going to change. And I'm sure that not only to provide the services to that nation space services to India, I'm sure that our entrepreneurs is going to give the services or going to do the business internationally. They are going to take that international market. That way, this whatever that the government of India's reform is really going to make a big impact in this near future.
Absolutely. Now, since we are here, Dr. Sivan, I must ask you this follow-up question. There is no doubt that ISRO is India's pride. ISRO has done India proud on several occasions and done a stellar and a fabulous job. Considering that space is a very strategic sector, space also needs a lot of specialization. To reach ISRO standards, do you believe that the private sector has the wherewithal to achieve what ISRO would like them to achieve?
Yes, you are right. Because of this only, our as a part of that reform, we are not only allowing that the private people to carry out the task, we are hand holding, and we are ready to provide their with our technology to them to do the job, and we are ready to share our facility to for them to carry out their activity. If they are trying to do that everything on their own, they may not be possible to do it. We wanted to handhold, we wanted to promote them, we wanted to transfer our technologies to them, so that in all aspects we wanted to train them, just like let's say we have grown from very small stage up to now, and we wanted to make this private industry also to grow, and we'll provide all the supports necessary for that, and we'll provide our system, our the technology, our facility, so that they can do, and we'll travel along with them. We'll ensure that they will provide that the precision job whatever we are doing. That's what our duty. That's what our job. That is that this our the new mechanism in space is going to do this one.
Okay, so it's going to be a partnership. There's going to be a lot of hand holding, and it's going to be like a lot of nurturing too from ISRO side, is what you're suggesting. So, what is it that you expect, or what is it that you see the private players and entrepreneurs bringing into ISRO?
That is that what we are expecting is that is it ISRO right now it is doing this that our operational missions, even to serve the country, that whatever that are required the commercial missions, operational missions also we are doing, and we are trying to do that new technology development also parallel, and also to meet the future demand. And by that new entrepreneurs come into the picture, half of our load will be taken away by them, mainly making use for providing the operational missions and providing services. I'm sure that they will take the load, so that ISRO can concentrate mostly on the technological development. This one. That's why we have a better advantage for us. That is the one point. Second one is, along with this one, we are expecting these entrepreneurs to do the technology development also. Like whatever we are doing, that right now the new technology development, we are expecting our friends to do. And we will give the money for that, and that technology we can make use of in our future missions. So it is like, it is not only in after some time, not only 17,000 people of ISRO, the entire country is going to do the space activity. So just imagine, we can make use of the entire country's expertise in this area. That is at our aim. We are sure that it will come in a very good, in a big way.
So, and I have to ask you this also. So, vice versa, what is it that how is it going to help the the private players opening up of ISRO's facilities in such a manner? And also, like I'm going to go back to a point that I was making earlier about how space is a strategic sector. Is there a fear of opening up the sector so much to the private players at some point in time?
See, one is that first question is that in what benefit the private player people are going to do. See, that is, if you had seen that in the space that business, the space economy, there are so much money is involved, and out of the total the $360 billion economy, space economy, nearly that 48% of that money is involved in the ground system and supply and installation. And nearly 45% of the money is involved in that applications. So basically, this our private players can contribute for ground systems as installations as well as that applications. They can grab the entire money we're spending in that thing for their benefit as a commercial basis. They can do that on a commercial basis. That is like a purely on the revenue generation for that private industry. That way they'll be benefited. And now the second part of your question, this is the space is a very very strategic sector with the dual use technology. How we will have that thing? For that only, we are going to have a space act bill, and we are going to have that our in-space mechanism on the Department of Space. And when they are allowing that the private players to do the work, they'll ensure that this technology is not getting utilized the wrong purpose, and all the necessary safety, security, and legal, all these that the directorates are going to be there in space, so that all aspects will be addressed, and then they will take care that with safely only we do it. At the same time, we can make them to do the business without any problem. That's what I aim.
Okay. So, you spoke about the ground systems and you spoke about how the private players can, come in there. But let's talk about space communication sector as a whole and what is the potential and scope really as far as space communication is concerned?
And basically, this when you talk about the applications of the space system, that the maximum that the contribution it is going to only that space communication only. So the commercial potential for that entire activity is going to be with the communications only. So that way, that whatever I was telling, this 45% the money is going to be in that applications, and 48% for the ground segment. If you are telling that out of all other compared to that all other applications of the space system, this major chunk is going to communications only, the satellite communications. That way, it is very very beneficial for these people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so the technology also, is going to be in such a way that private sector and the public sector is going to benefit from this. So in due course of time, Dr. Sivan, can we say that with ISRO's help and ISRO's hand-holding, we can expect an Indian Tesla or an Indian Boeing as well?
Yes, definitely. I am telling the Indian are no way less than anybody, and we can make it. And I am sure that our entrepreneurs, the way they have the enthusiasm, and they have the knowledge, and they have that effort. I'm sure that in future we'll get much more the people like other people, and we will be. I'm sure that our not only they are going to serve for the country, and they are going to have a big share from the international markets also by this process. That is more
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely, absolutely. Opening up to the international market is going to be a big thing, really, as far as space is concerned. But do you see any challenges going forward, Dr. Sivan, and how do you think we can address some of these challenges?
Now, basically, this that as you also told very correctly, that is that it is having the strategic use this one, and any space activities done in a country, that government is responsible, whether it's a government agency doing or private agency doing. This is as per that treat to be a sign, space treat to be a sign, and that's our thing. And so this dual purpose, this high precision technology should not end up in the wrong hand. That is one point. Then another point is that our because like you can say that image taken by a spacecraft can be utilized for uh, domestic purpose, it can be used for strategic purpose. So that way, that is that earlier these rules were very stringent. So we need to have a rules very flexible for that our private people to do the job. At the same time, we are very careful that should not be utilized the wrong way. So this is like a double-edged sword. We have to allow the people to do the work. At the same time, we should ensure that they are doing it wrongly. That is a type of that double-edged sword. And for that only that they were a space activity bill, then the space different policies we are bringing, and also the in-space mechanism is bringing, so that multi-level protective mechanism, so that while doing the job freely, at the same time they should not do it wrongly. That way only we are working, and I'm sure that the system, whatever we are building, will be addressed, will take care of all these things.
Absolutely. All right. So let's now broaden the scope of the discussion and talk about, what are the larger plans as far as ISRO is concerned. So what's in store for ISRO in the short term, Dr. Sivan, and what is ISRO working on right now?
One is that is, as you know, this the government of India's flagship program of Gaganyaan, sending human in space to space and bring them safely back to Earth. This is one program we are working. It's a very flagship program. We are working with very fast track mode. This is the one. And the second one is we are working on the Chandrayaan 3 program. That is that we want to land safely on the moon. And this is another program, so Chandrayaan 3. At the same time, that is, we are not very happy. I mean, we are not fully self-sufficient in our launch vehicle. The sense, yes, we are having a launcher which is having the capacity about 4.10 to GTO, but we need a bigger vehicle. Otherwise, for a bigger satellite, still we are depending on the foreign countries. We wanted to have our own launcher. So for that, the development of semi-cryogenics engine, then also there is new advanced propulsion system like electric propulsion system in the satellite, and the bigger cryogenic stage. This development is also going on, and we are going to have a very soon that a heavy lift launcher which can lift something like the 15 to 20 ton to GTO. That is a one way launch vehicle side we are going. The satellite side, we are going from the normal communication satellite to high throughput satellite, and we wanted to have that. Still, we wanted to increase the throughput of the spacecraft by increase that frequencies that we are working on the satellite side. And we have a couple of good amount of our science missions, like we have the Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, and all. But like that, we are now looking for spacecraft to study the sun. That is the Aditya L1. Then we have that X-ray polarimetric satellite, and like that now we have a plan, long-term plan to go to Venus also, and like we are having lot of work on our hand, and then after the Gaganyaan, that we are thinking about how to make the extending the program further beyond. That is another activity. So it's really a lot of activities we are having on our hand.
So there's never a dull day or a dull moment as far as ISRO is concerned, is what you're saying. So, Dr. Sivan, as far as the pandemic is concerned, has the pandemic in any way hampered any of your plans or, slowed down some of your progress as far as some of these flagship projects that you mentioned?
Sure, that definitely this the pandemic had some impact on our programs, because that is for quite some time. That mainly, that our systems has to come from the industries, but the industry was not able to work in full steam, and because of that one, the supply of hardware the program got delayed. And the same as that our own people, that is that also that is we have that restriction on the during that peak time, so we are not able to work with a full quorum. Now we are able to operate to the full steam, but at the same time now every day some nearly some that 20-30 the COVID positive cases are coming across all the centers. Now, what happened is when a person from a particular lab is tested positive, the lab is closed. So then we have to close, and then we have to do that sanitization and other things. So it is taking there. So definitely all these have an impact on that one. But even though it is slow, we are proceeding steadily. And that's what even under this condition also that our employees of ISRO they daily they are taken as a challenge, and they travel all the way to Sriharikota, and they are getting into that activities of that making the rocket. So we are sure to have a very launch very soon, and our activities are going, but maybe with slightly slower speed because of this pandemic thing. But I'm sure that within another few months it will be coming to normal mode, and we will be going normal speed.
Absolutely. And Dr. Sivan, also just for the benefit of our viewers, let's also talk about the level of cooperation and understanding between ISRO and other, space agencies like NASA or the European Space Agency and others. What is the level of cooperation, coordination, and are these space agencies working together on some projects?
Yes, definitely. That is our. We have that high level of cooperation with other agencies, space agencies. For example, with NASA, we are having a very high precision project. That is NASA ISRO synthetic aperture radar, the highest costly that costliest that satellite, Earth observed satellite they're going for that one. It's a collaboration between two agencies that we are working on that. Then with another agencies with the French space agencies with the CANAS, we have that collaborations to work with mainly on that advanced observation satellites like the Earth of Krishna and atmospheric studies, this type of thing. Along with the Russia space agencies, we are having interaction or collaboration for training our astronauts, and some of the technologies required for the Gaganyaan program. We are procuring from them. That way, we have the thing. And with the Japanese, we have collaborations to have a combined mission for launching next the moon mission. That is our one. With the Israel space program, the space sector, we are having interaction in terms of making some small thrusters for our electric thrusters for our small satellite, this type of mission. So that almost all the space agencies across the globe, we are having interaction or collaborations for technology transfer and working together. That way it is there.
And Dr. Sivan, before I let you go, it's been a great interaction over the last 25 minutes or so. Before I let you go, there will be several youngsters who want to become scientists, who probably want to join ISRO at some point in time, later on in their life. Any message that you would like to send out to them? Anything that you would like to tell our budding scientists of our country?
So definitely, that is what I wanted to tell you. That is that I request all the youngsters to study the science and get into that thing, and their opportunity for them is very large. This opportunity is not only in ISRO and is available everywhere. So if they are not got an opportunity to enter into ISRO, don't get disheartened. They have opportunity now. We are opening the space sector for the public, so they can work from outside also. And only thing is, please concentrate. And I am sure that the youngsters have a much more energy, and they have a very bright idea. And I request that all the youngsters to ensure that the technological development you please ensure, so that to take India as a technological powerhouse, number one in the global level. That's what I'm sure that in very soon that we are going to lead the global community on the technological area. And it will be done by our youngsters. I'm sure that they will do it.
So the youngsters are the future scientists and the future of the country as far as technology or anything else is concerned, is what Dr. Sivan is suggesting. Dr. Sivan, thank you so much for joining me on the program and sharing your views really as far as SpaceCon is concerned, and also to talking about what is in store for ISRO in the years to come. Thank you so much for joining me on the program.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, then with that, it's a wrap on this edition of The Big Picture. See you again next time.